Soul, a podcast for a better you. Your host, Steve Hudgens, is a licensed professional counselor. On a non-emergency basis, you may contact them at area code 918-280-8690 or coachsoul.com to provide them with new topics, feedback, or to request an appearance on the show. And now, here's your host, Steve Hudgens.
Hey, welcome back to Coach So, and I am so excited that the holidays are here. And Kenya,
I'm so excited to be here, Steve, once again. Oh my goodness.
I enjoy summer, but at the same time, I enjoy winter because it's the holidays. And what a great segue in a topic to talk about family, couples, the dynamics that should bring us together. And I know we were talking off mic, and I wanted to go ahead and catch this moment because I think it's important. One of the things you talked about your anniversary and being able to have a reset for you. And I want to kind of start off with this way because and then have you kind of chime in on your direction here, because I think you bring out some valid good points. And one of the things that I look at is a couple that I had started counseling with. I can see the discontentment within her. It was his idea, great men that I applaud you for wanting to come to therapy. Yes. A lot of times it's the habit that when couples do come to therapy, she's about done. And this is a last ditch effort. And so I feel like a tow truck pulling this car out that's been wrecked and trying to help get it back on the road again. And one of the things that came out was her discontentment of, he's calling me the B word. He calls me the C word. He calls me all these kind of words that put me down, that I'm just done. And when I talked to him, I said, do you love her or what? And he says, well, of course I love her. And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, I want to know something here. If you do love her, what do you, would you go and rescue her if she was in trouble? Well, sure. Okay. Sure. You would protect her at all costs and help her. But here's the question I want to challenge. If that was the case, then what is stopping you from protecting her from you and the hurt that you're causing her? If you love and you're ready to protect, it's not happening here. And I'm not sure if you're realizing it or not because of anger and things of that nature. What are your thoughts about men and women either protecting or guarding their relationship? I mean, you and Jeremy had just spent a wonderful time and away from kids and things. Talk a little bit about what you were sharing with me off mic about the term protection.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you for that. Just a framework about couples that says they love each other, but they don't really behave. It doesn't come out as such. And man, I dare to say I was there. I mean, we never belittle each other in words. But the behavior didn't show that we truly loved each other. It was more like we're co-parenting, living in the same house, being good friends, nothing really wrong, but there was a disconnect. And then it dawned on me, wow, it was 2013, the last time we stayed together for more than a night outside of our kids, our 3 kids. We didn't even have a 3rd child. So when you say protect, I don't feel like I needed to protect our relationship. Now I am aware and committed to model love, fun, connection, life by design for my kids. Because my husband is a cool dude. I enjoy his company. I think he's funny. I think he's pleasant. We're creative. It's time to up-level to a power couple and live a legacy in this world, because we can. We have been doing separately. Why not together? Together, we go farther. Now, I dare to say that the couple that you just described, he's not aware of how she gets hurt with those words.
Mm-hmm.
He might hear her saying, don't call me this hurts me. But if he doesn't feel that there is a problem, better wording, if he felt, he would have stopped. He's probably using as a slang. He's not using with the intention of cut a knife in her heart, put a knife in there. That's how she's receiving. So that is a completely frequency mismatch that is pulling them completely apart, because no one will sit here and say, hey, that is actually emotional abuse. That's actually verbally abuse. And he's saying, well, I'm just communicating. I am just foreseeing, because I also have coached couples like that, where there was a disconnect of, he thinks this is okay because it's just communicating. Would you rather me to not say anything? Would you rather me to not talk to you? You want me to express, but then when I express, you stop. You see, there's a mismatch on, hey, if we're doing life together, shall we do the most amazing, incredible life possible? And if you say, yes, but I don't know how, forget the how. We're so addicted to how. Let's go for desire. Have you seen a
Right.
2-year-old exploring? He doesn't know nothing, but
Right.
he's curious and playful and light. My invitation is for you that's listening to me is to us. It's like, so you have a family. Do you want to bark orders to your kids all day long, or do you want to enjoy them? Do you want to push your wife away from you or closer to you? Do you want your husband to actually listen to you, or you want to micromanage and criticize? Listen to feedback. People around you is giving you feedback, giving us feedback all the time. Are we listening? And if you choose to listen, it's as easy as saying, okay, I want to hear, I want to see, I want to feel. We communicate to 5 senses, not just words.
It's interesting because I feel like sometimes we're in this Peter Pan syndrome. We've forgotten how to be a kid. We forgot how to explore. We forgot how to easily forgive. A kid wants love and acceptance, but even as adult, we still want love and acceptance.
It's never grow out of us. It's a
Right.
primary need. As a matter of fact, all our insecurities and question marks come from a place of, if I truly am authentic, would I still be loved? If I truly lower the masks and the shields, would I be hurt? So I answer the question for you right now. If you think you will be, you will be. If you're courageous to show up unapologetically and offer love, even when you're not receiving, I promise you, what you put out, it will come back to you.
That's difficult.
I'm not saying it's
many.
easy, but
right.
what is more difficult? To dare to be the one to be the unconditional love generator, or to close yourself and be protected and safe and not feel a thing.
When you think about how our culture and society is today,
yeah,
it appears to be difficult. For me, it's not. I remember working as a director, and one of the technicians had called me down to the unit because there was some trouble. So I went down to the unit. Here's this little kid, here's this adult arguing back and forth. And I said, hey, just let me talk to him for a second. I pulled my tech out to the hallway and I said, man, looking in, coming in on this, he seems like he's the adult. And I'm not trying to disparage or put you down. But there's an argument you're not going to win here. Well, he's disrespecting me. I said, well, hold on. How do we define disrespect and respect? This is a kid that's never been taught how to respect. because of the family dynamics, and he's in state custody. And
Mm.
so oftentimes, if we set aside what we want and just do, and teach this child how to be able to respect. And I said, it's when a man respects himself, loves himself, he doesn't need it. But when a man commands and demands for respect, he doesn't love or respect himself.
Mm.
And I advised him, I said, just listen and be curious. Be curious about what he's wanting. No, I'm not going to be disrespected like that. And I said, man, if we continue down this road, I'm afraid something's going to happen. Well, 3 or 4 months later, he transferred and he was let go because of the anger got the best of him. And it was an unfortunate situation. But where I go from this is if we can guard our hearts, as scriptures talks about guard, right? What does it mean to guard? It doesn't mean protect as far as Fort Knox. I think guard to me means to be aware. To be aware, to be present in the moment. That you're not going to allow, it's what I want to express to men, that it's about guarding your woman from yourself that has the unintentional evocation of causing harm to her. It's being wise and careful how you guard, but in the same way, women too should guard themselves from hurting men.
This has nothing to do with gender role. It has to do with your human. How are you how are you present? You talk about being present, how you're present in the moment, in your body, and how healed or unhealed are your wounds. Because when your wounds get triggered, then you lose your wise self. You go back to the moment where you experience that wound, and that's when nobody can communicate.
It's difficult to do.
Yeah, I often say, well, you can keep saying it's difficult, or you can make a choice of how do I want my next minute to be like, my next day. It's a choice. Am I going to, I'm talking Kenya. I had to make the choices then when I started healing, and every day when I have the thought of, oh, there we go again, because the thought would really never leave. Thoughts are like invitations. Are you going to sell out to the thought, sell out and allow that frequency to suck you in and trigger? People ask about me about this all the time. Okay, so what, Kenya? So what if my brother's negative or my mom is negative? I still got to deal with them. It's like, yes, because family is sacred, but they don't need to be influencing your life. You deal with them in a loving way, but you are not under that frequency all the time by choice, because you are in control of you. It's you and God. So as you change your verbiage, that's why I'm picking on it, Stephen. And I know you're great at this. You're just picking because some people that will be listening will say, but how do I do that? I'll tell you how to do that. You decide. Number one, you decide that there's a potentiality that this can be you. And there is, because all there is potential.
Well, and the reason why I use the word difficult, because that's what I hear in therapy. It's difficult. I don't want to talk to my uncle that way when he's being difficult, or talk to my dad or my brother or whatever when they're being difficult. It's how do I come in? How am I able to speak to somebody that has harshness for me?
So may I, Steve?
Sure, I recognize where their difficulty is, but like you said, it's how do we be
so when I hear that, even from my inner child, right? From this voice within, or my kids or my clients, they will say, but it's difficult. And I would say, yes. And you're stronger than the feeling of being difficult. You are more valuable than the thought of giving up without even being all in, and notice my language. I am not saying trying. We're not here to try. We are here with an invitation. Are you all in? And for all the couples out there that is listening to this, for all the mamas, for the wise side of you that hear this and resonates, please believe that you have all these archetypes inside of you, because you do. And tap into that courage, tap into that infinite potential, tap into possibility.
So with that being said, and we talk about how the viewpoint is it's difficult and challenging. And I hear the wisdom behind your words, but that's a foreign concept into today's world and society, that we just act upon emotion. But it's difficult to think about process first before acting on emotion. And that's because it's human. But when we say because, that's what I feel like we're excusing that behavior and not taking accountability for our action on that. So when we talk about trying to be present in the moment, and you're right, this has no validity to gender role. It has to do with the humanity of understanding who we are as a person, being present in the moment. And we talk about childhood wounds and things of that nature that oftentimes I see in therapy, that we don't allow our inner child hurts to be heard. We don't let that inner child out to recognize at that one point in time when you were a child, you were not able to defend yourself because you were a child. But now that you're an adult, you can reason with reality that you're in a safe position and be able to allow yourself to feel the emotion. So it's like we protect, again, there's that where we protect ourselves from not wanting to have an emotion.
From hurt, yes.
I'm hurt, right. So talk about a little bit more about how to help a person move beyond that hurt, to be able to, I don't like the term let it go.
Okay.
Because it's a part of us and we should learn how to manage, I think.
You have got to love that child in you. Mm-hmm. You have got to hear, what is she saying? What is she scared? What is he protecting himself from? And you got to cradle, listen, and reparent. By just being and acknowledging that hurt, that pain exists, and allow that to move through you. That's what we call shadow work. It's to look at the places that is in the darkness that is actually just sucking so much of our energy, because it desperately wants to integrate and become all light in our body and become. So when I am telling you and become more love, when I'm telling you to offer that love outwards, it's quite impossible to offer that unconditional love outwards if you're not loving all parts of you. Mm-hmm. It's really quite impossible. It's what I would call sacrificial giving. So you have the intention to love outwards, and you are, but not from a place of overflow, from a place of taking it from me and giving it to you. That's not what I'm talking about here. The wholeness come from, oh, wow, I just got triggered because I remember when I was growing up, nothing that I did was right. So there he goes again, telling me that I'm falling short, that I'm not enough, whatever. That rant did not start in your marriage. It didn't start in your motherhood. It started when you were a child.
Right.
So you go to your 7-year-old version of you and your 5-year version of you, whatever is your first, you ask that quality question, when was the first time? If I could remember, when is the first time that I experienced this? When was this originated? And really allow your superconscious the Holy Spirit to guide you through this process of just being. You could do that on a bathtub. You could do that taking a shower. You could do that journaling. It's about the intention of calling in that part of you and accept, shed love. And please just notice that there is a formula. Yes, there is a system that I work through my clients, but also the biggest system is in intention, Steve. There's no right or wrong when you do it with the intention of freedom, the intention of light, the intention of release, integration, forgiveness. Most of the times when we are resentful of the past, it's not even about the person. Do I have permission to be very bold here? If you were raped, the biggest issue here that I see with my clients is not even to forgive the offender, is to forgive that you didn't scream loud enough, that you were there by yourself, that you felt the little hairs in your head to not go there and then you went there anyway. I mean, 9 times out of 10, there's self-forgiveness to take place. And I have news for you. You're fully loved. You're fully forgiven. If you would just accept that is that easy, maybe things would get easier.
You know, when you say just accept, and you're working with clients, and I work with clients, and you and I know that understanding, just accept. And, you know, it's how do you teach people how to accept that it's okay?
Yeah, so my work is not verbal. I just want to leave it out there.
Right.
Yes, I'm a great coach. I'm a great mentor. I can speak highly of me all day long, but that's not who Kenya is. I hold sacred space for unconditional love so the Holy Spirit can truly show you the magnificence and the greatness and the purity and the wholeness that you are. I reflect your greatness. Yes, it's through conversations, but it's also through embodiment work and movement and voice. And it's a feeling. Why does the words hurt? Go ahead, Steve. Tell me why it hurt. What is it hurting?
It hurts the inner child because that's where it began.
Oh,
I heard
energy.
the first words then. Yes,
energy. So no one is spanking you. So in your body, you feel pain. So in your body, you get it out. It's not cerebral. You can go and get an Audible membership like I do and listen in double speed or triple speed and have all 375,000 books. It will still not download if you don't have the intention to download that you are whole, that you're not broken, that it's all perfect, and it's all conditioning. It's generational conditioning to keeping you small.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that can be true. It's like, okay, then keep going the merry-go-round. When you see it, you can't unsee it, but the way to see it is to feel it.
Explain that.
It's all about the frequency that you're holding. You can be mad as can be, hold a newborn baby. Tell me how you feel. As a matter of fact, just the thought of holding the baby, I'm already there and my heart is melting. The smell of the baby is the 5 senses. It's the memories that got coded in your body through your 5 senses that makes your body bleed, can also make the bleeding to stop. Would you dare to accept the possibility that this exists? Be the one in your lineage to say, you know what? I've never seen modeled the marriage of my dreams. And I'm speaking from my heart. I, Kenya, have never seen modeled the marriage of my dreams. My mama was married 3 times. My grandmother was married twice. I'm the first one in my lineage, as I'm concerned, to be married 18 years with the same person, and I dare to say happy. Happy by design, happy with ups and downs. But in the journey of creating what I never saw with my physical eyes possible, but with my spiritual eyes was the only thing I have ever seen. Loving someone.
It's to make it simple, and we're about out of time. When I think about where does my fear of heights stem from, because that's conditioned. It reverts back to when I was 5 or 6, and my uncle kind of snuck up behind me as the family were out shopping, and we're on the second floor of the mall. And he comes by, makes this noise, picks me up, scoots me up, and I'm feeling myself over the rail of the balcony and right back down, and kind of laughs and chuckles about it. I don't like getting near. It's taken me a while. And so when I think about negativity emotions, it's like that. It gets to a point that it gets a grip onto you until you are able to be intentionally and purposely willing to work on what impacts you that's hurtful. We're going to stay stuck.
So may I say this, Steve? For today, I want the listeners to just listen carefully with what Steve said. It does not need to be cracked open 365 degrees. If there's a little tiny crack, a possibility in its darkness, what that crack does is light takes over. The crack that I are suggesting today is that, could it be possible? Would you dare to hold the belief of possibility of healing, possibility of fulfillment, possibility of recreation? Just that. Just hold lightly with curiosity. Possibility.
And that is our gift. Dun, dun, dun. As we're approaching the holidays to you. Until next time, God bless and take care.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope to have you back next week. Until then, be safe and be kind.